Man, in the 21 years of videoing my hunts, that has got to be the wildest thing I've ever filmed.
Dad's been hunting ever since he was a teenager, and fast forward all these years down the road, you know, being able to be by his side when he killed his biggest buck ever, you know, especially the way it all went down, just a complete dream come true, you know.
Started a long time ago when my dad introduced me to hunting. See, I can't do it. It's gonna be tough.
Can you beat it? 0 to 60, man.
Whoa, what can you say about that? An absolute dream buck.
He's down right there, baby. Let's go.
He's down right there. Dude, I freaking did it. Oh, man.
Insane night. Season on, game on.
Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Midwest Whitetail here on October 20th. You know, I just got off the phone with Kurt Geyer from Working Class Bow Hunter. He tagged a buck last night, and that is just further confirmation that deer season is in full swing, and we are very, very happy to be present. This episode, you know, I'm proud of everyone that we can bring to the channel here. And, you know, before I move any further, I just want to say thank you so much, guys, for the support last week on Owen's episode, the story of the Genesis buck. All you guys' kind words and comments are much appreciated by us, and I know Owen as well. And, you know, this week is no different. It's a big deer and a great story. And, you know, we owe a lot of thanks to guys like Justin Redeker, who participated in, you know, teaching the next generation. You know, if you guys are familiar with Midwest Whitetail or have followed along, you know Nolan Redeker, and he's developed into one of my closest friends. He's a great dude, and, you know, he just got married, and there's so much to celebrate. And, you know, on this episode, we tried to dive a little bit deeper on just, you know, how did Justin get into hunting? And it's a story that I think all of us are going to resonate with in some way or another. You know, everybody's got somebody to thank. Could have been a family member, could have been a family friend, an organization, but somebody stoked the fire that turned into such a passion for the outdoors. And we just get to see a little bit more what's under the hood for Justin. And, you know, ultimately he's got a great message at the end outside of a giant buck. So before I kind of lay out the episode, I just want to bring attention to a few things. Number one, you know, we've got the Midwest Whitetail Regional Series rocking and rolling, where I put out 3 episodes this past week that the guys, you know, it's a great team of individuals across the country. And, you know, I just got done watching G-Man's hunt. Kane Gillette has been a longtime friend, met him through Midwest Whitetail many years ago. He got to share in the first deer his son has ever punched a tag on, and the reactions are absolutely priceless. And so please don't miss those. There's a lot of great stories and content and lessons over there. And then obviously on the Chase series, you know, continue to stay up to date. The guys are starting to get rocking and rolling there as well. A lot of hunts coming your way, a lot of forms of media. And, you know, without further ado, we're obviously jumping into Justin's story on this one. But before we get there, we're going to show you a really crazy encounter with Owen Reigler. This is following his Genesis hunt. He's back on the trail now for the Fraser buck. And he saw something that is just crazy. I mean, you might have seen it on social media. You may have even seen it on the Chase because we put the hunt out the day after. But in case you didn't, we wanted to show you this and give you guys the opportunity to win a couple of apparel items. We're going to give a full Midwest Whitetail and Chasing November gear package to whoever comes up with the most creative nickname here. Just drop it in the comments on this video. A week from now, Owen's going to tell me which one he picks, and I'll get a hold of you and get that stuff sent out. And on that same topic with apparel, just be on the lookout on the Midwest Whitetail store. We're about to launch some new hats, some new hoods, some new t-shirts, and then we're going to kick off our Chasing November giveaway, which includes an unreleased Hoyt bow amongst many other great items. So we're very excited to get those details your way. Appreciate the support. Anybody that's been picking up apparel, and I've got to share some cool conversations with different you know, people across the country. And yeah, this is a fun episode. We really hope you enjoy it. I hope you're having the best season of your life, and if you're not, the best is still yet to come as we chase November. And yeah, I'll stop talking. Let's get to the episode now.
Well, it's 3:30, October 13th. We are in the tree stand we wanted to be in last time we hunted last Thursday. This is Monday. We're after that Fraser buck, and he stepped out right here last time we were here. Worked this rubbing post, worked up this edge, and those beans and greens right there. So, my gosh, if he would do that again today, we would be in the action. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever seen? That is nuts. How does that even happen this time of year? Man, in the 21 years of doing video or videoing my hunts, that has got to be the wildest thing I've ever filmed, or we've ever filmed. Devin filmed that. But, you know, you got to sit and wonder how in the world that happened. I thought about him getting locked up with a buck and the other buck dies, but the level of decay on the deadhead just doesn't seem to match that. So I got to wonder if he didn't get tangled up with a deer that was already deadhead, that was just down to the skull already, and just happened to get hooked up like that. And who knows how long he'll walk around like that, but pretty neat thing to see. Now moving on to this hunt with Justin and Nolan. It couldn't happen to two better guys. You know, I got to visit with them quite a bit at the Iowa Deer Classic last year, and really enjoyed that. Super nice people, and you know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is getting out there with your loved ones and building memories like that. I really hope you guys enjoy this hunt. Thank you.
Well guys, welcome to the show this week. As I'm sure you guys have seen, and the main reason for this week's episode is that Dad and I had an incredible once-in-a-lifetime hunt last week, and I couldn't be more excited to share that with you guys. But before we dive into that, really just wanted to give a general update on my season. This season, I'm really excited to dive into the buck 40. Had some good bucks last year that have shown back up at some point, either this summer or this fall. To highlight the main changes on the buck 40, you know, really spent a ton of time with Dad in there with the chainsaw, really trying to improve the bedding. But moving on from there, really wanted to add a different component there that I really didn't have on year one of ownership, was to really improve the food. Tried some food plots last year, and really they all basically failed, mainly because of the drought. We did get some rain, but I think one thing that really hurt me there was the soil compaction. So with that in mind, something we did differently this year was I was able to utilize my grandpa's no-till drill, and he was able to come in there with the Great Plains and plant them for me. And this year it's completely different. Have a ton of food in there, and that's going to add a whole new component to the buck 40 this year that I'm really excited about. The two specific bucks I'm really hoping to target there on the buck 40 is a buck I call Bugs and a buck I named the Grinch. The Grinch was on camera on October 1st, and really this year something I'm seeing different compared to last year is there's a lot more corn in the area. So with that in mind, a lot of it still has yet to be picked, and I think I'm still waiting to see that fall shift that a lot of other people have seen compared to where the corn has come out. So had the Grinch on camera, like I mentioned, on October 1st, and hopefully as we move closer to November 1st, he starts showing up and showing more consistency as we move closer to the rut. Same kind of thing with Bugs. Last picture I had of him was mid-August, and he's a buck that showed a lot of consistency in there last year. He's the one I'm mainly wanting to target, but just haven't had a picture of him during the season yet. So really hoping he moves back in and starts to call the buck 40 home for this coming fall. But moving on from the buck 40, I can't just spend my entire year hunting just 40 acres. Really don't want to burn it out. So my other properties are kind of similar. All of our permission properties really just still waiting on some bucks to show back up. So with that in mind, as bucks do start showing up this fall, really just gonna kind of try to pick a couple different targets and bounce back and forth between them. My wife, Macy, she's excited to get out and try to get her first deer on the ground ever. And she's got a target buck picked out, a buck we call the bully buck. And the farm that he's on, he just rules the place. He's this great big bodied 5-year-old deer, and we're really hoping that she can get in there and put him on the ground. And then also previous Midwest Whitetail intern Ethan Stubbs, he's gonna come down, and really excited to share a hunting camp with him for a week there in the later half of November. That's when my vacation time is set for right now, is the 20th through the 30th. So I'm excited to spend a week with him. really just going to be a really fun time getting able to share just a camp with him and share some good hunts together. But sticking with the theme of hunting with family and friends, and back to the main point for this week's episode is just hunting with Dad. And been super fortunate over the years just to have him really show me the ropes of bow hunting and to be able to follow, in his tracks, and really just have him, teach me everything that he has to know about bow hunting and about deer. And so, Dad's been hunting ever since he was a teenager, and fast forward all these years down the road, being able to be by his side when he killed his biggest buck ever, especially the way it all went down, just a complete dream come true, he deserves it. He works his butt off. He's been looking for this buck all summer, and just super thrilled and grateful to be able to share the experience with him. But with all that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to my dad, kind of let him tell you his bow hunting story over the years, and let him tell you the story of a buck he calls the Lost Tine Buck.
Okay, I'm Justin Redeker. I'm here to talk about the hunt Nolan and I had. It was amazing. I never could imagine that it would ever happen the way it did. And it was a once in a lifetime thing that, I hope to keep experiencing over and over and over and over. And there's a lot of things that led to us experiencing that. It started a long time ago when my dad introduced me to hunting. See, I can't do it. It's gonna be tough. I have a lot of memories with my dad, and I don't know. I can't see him. So I'd have to give most of my credit to my dad. He took me wherever he went. If it was trapping, prairie chicken hunting, quail hunting. One of my fond memories was we were out quail hunting by our house, and he'd wounded a quail and it flew up into a tree, and he let me finish it off with a BB gun. So that's one that I hold pretty close to my heart for a long time. And sitting in the fields with him, watching prairie chicken fly in, all the mornings getting up early, and I'd be mad if he didn't get me up early to go check traps with him. But multiple times that I've got so many memories that just, always flood back in pretty regularly when I think about him. So deer hunting, honestly, my dad really wasn't a big deer hunter, but I think he kind of set the groundwork for it. Greg Markowitz was the one that kind of got me into deer hunting, and from there the passion's just kind of grown a little bit, maybe what some people might call crazy. And I think I've kind of shared that with Nolan, and he's kind of got into it with me quite a bit. So I really enjoy just being outdoors, and that doesn't really matter what kind of hunting is, but deer hunting is probably my biggest passion by far. But the very first deer that I ever shot was a 4-point that I literally hit a little high, and he didn't go anywhere, and a friend of mine helped me get him taken care of and drag him out of the woods. But that was one that I still have his little 4-point rack on a plaque, and he's just as prized to me as any big deer that I've ever shot since then. So that's probably the one that really started it all for me, was that first one, and then after that it just grew from there. Nolan started getting an interest probably hearing my stories coming back from the deer stand, because he always wanted to know what I saw. He'd always meet me at the door wanting to know what was going on. Sometimes he would get up and want to go, and at that point in time he wasn't quite old enough, but we started going deer hunting together, and his first experience was with a rifle, and we were sitting in a little box blind, and the deer came in literally. I mean, he could have probably reached out and just closed his eyes and grabbed it, but that's how close the deer was to us. And I told him, we talked about where to shoot, and he said, "Dad, all I can see is brown. I can't see anything but brown." So I said, "Well, try to settle it behind his shoulder." Well, he shot, and the deer dropped literally just right there on the spot, and you could just see it in his eyes. He was definitely hooked. And the funniest part about that deer is, he goes, "Dad, there's no blood anywhere." I said, "Well, I think you scared him to death." And he got a good kick out of that. But we finally found, that he did make a good shot, and he was pretty excited about it. And then since then, he's been hooked my dad was there for that. We have pictures of him with us with that deer, and it brings back a lot of memories just when we first started. So.
What's your first hunt of the year?
Hunt of a lifetime.
Yeah, this is my first hunt of the year too. 2 times in October, 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. So after Nolan's first deer, he really like pushed to go, and we worked a lot with him. It was virtually impossible to keep him out of a tree. I mean, he wanted to get up in a tree with me as soon as he could. So I set some stands a little bit lower than normal, and he wanted to start videoing his deer hunts, and I thought he was crazy because I thought it was hard enough to get one without a video, but that's what he wanted to do. So he took the little camcorder that we had and he started videoing his hunts.
It's November 12th. It's about 2 o'clock and I came in early. The rut is going crazy right now. There's bucks out everywhere. I just got one. Yes. Oh, yes. I just had, this doe came in right underneath me, and that buck came and did the same thing, followed her, and I was true for so long because he wouldn't give me the right shot, and I think I just got him. Oh, that was awesome. I think it's a 6 point. I'm shaking. Yes, I gotta call my dad. My deer here, we just found a shed. The little one, I'll shoot up. There you go. Oh, there he is.
Starting to walk a little faster. I can't keep up with him. Since then, it's just become crazy. And last October, I mean, I've been with him when he shot deer, but he's never been with me. So last October, when we got to go out and experience that together and get the first one on film, and now it's there. We have it. He is a wide one. Pretty deer. Thanks, buddy. Well, very first time. I don't even know how many years I've been chasing these animals, but this is the first time I've ever killed one in October. To top it off, it's the first time Nolan's ever been with me when I've put an arrow in one, and he got it on video, which is even more awesome. The weather has just been brutal here in Kansas. It's been so hot, and this is a first cold front we've had, or cool front as I would call it, since October 13th. He kind of did exactly what we thought he would do. He was headed to the fields to the west of us, and he came from the east. Well, we think he came from the east, but the cattle gave us an indication that there was something there, and luckily I had Nolan with me because I didn't hear it, but he jumped the fence and Nolan heard it. And when you're a dinosaur, sometimes your ears go. And this boy is beautiful. I couldn't ask for a better deer in October, and I couldn't ask for anything better than having Nolan with me on first time to get it on video, first time we've ever been together on one, so it's been pretty awesome. So shortly after we got done in October filming my hunt, we were getting pictures of a deer that I guess I would call it a non-typical butt. He just had just some weird points and some stuff that just wasn't normal, but I got a message from a friend that had been deer hunting to the west of us, and she said that I just passed a really nice buck, and I'm not sure why I did, but it just looked young, and I just didn't feel like it was ready to, be taken. And that was about when we first got the pictures of this deer, and I sent them to her, and she goes, "Yep, that's the one. That's the one." So one of the last pictures we got of the buck, he had broken off a tine that was just kind of flat, that went kind of up in the center of his head, and it had two little points at the end of it. It was palmated and flat, and it was fairly long, but it wasn't anything huge. But we went out and we were looking for the antlers, and I came upon this tine that he broke off in that last picture that we got of the deer. So we had, 4 or 5 antlers in our hands, and Nolan goes, well, I'll just put that one in my fanny pack. Well, lo and behold, we get back to the truck, and the tine was not in his fanny pack anymore, and that's why I called this deer the lost Tine Buck. So we set out to look for the other antlers. I scoured the area thinking I'd find it. I looked and I looked and I looked, just couldn't find it. And around, I think it was April 5th, I was out looking in one last ditch effort on a place that was about 2 miles from where I found the lost tine, and I walked up on its shed and I absolutely couldn't believe it. It's April 5th. I'm out doing a late season shed hunt. I had a specific deer that I've been trying to find all season. I've walked a lot of miles looking for this particular deer, and I'm several miles from where we had pictures of him, and we only had a couple pictures of him. And I got lucky enough to stumble across one of his sides, and he broke a piece off, and I'm not sure if this is the side that it was broke off of, but we're gonna find out here, and hopefully we can find his other side. But it's April 5th, and I just could not give up, and here he is. Got lots of mass, and there is a spot where something broke off right there. Hopefully I can get lucky and find his other side here, but he should be a really nice deer next year. So I have that history with the deer, and that, other than that, the few pictures and the lost tine and his one shed, that is all we had of the deer. And all summer, this summer, I looked for that deer, hoping I would find him somewhere, close by. But I never had any luck at all. And it was the Sunday before I shot the lost Tine Buck that I talked my wife into going for a ride. And my eyes during dark are not as good as what they used to be. And we're driving the same road that I drove, I don't know, 75 to 100 times in the summer looking for this deer. And she goes, I think I just saw a really big buck out the window. And I didn't see it, but I backed up for her just to, appease her. And sure enough, there was this buck, and it was bedded down, and we could see the top of his tines. And I was like, I think that might be him. I'm not sure, but I think it might be him. And I really didn't, we left. We kind of left the area. Got dark on us. We really couldn't see it anymore. We got a short video with the cell phone, and I showed it to Nolan. He goes, Dad, I think that's a pretty good deer. And I said, I think it might be him. And he agreed with me, but, we really didn't think much of it. And then fast forward to Sunday, a week later, I happened to drive by there, not looking to find the deer, just drove by there, and I'm like, there he was, in the exact same spot. So I'm like, had a few things I needed to do. I sent Nolan a message. He was out of town, and I didn't even get back to my phone for, I don't know, I'd say it was maybe 2 hours, and Nolan had blown my phone up. He goes, we have to try to go after that deer. He goes, you have to go after that deer. And I wasn't real excited about it because multiple times I've tried spotting stalks as growing up, and I don't know how many failed attempts it's been. It's never been even anything close. So he convinced me to go in there, and if it probably wouldn't have been for him and my wife spotting the deer, I would never ever have even thought about going after him.
Well, I'm hustling, trying to meet up with Dad right now. He gave me a call when I was out of town this morning. I'm trying to get back because he found a buck in a bed pretty close to the road that he's been looking for all summer. Finally found him back last week, and he drove by there here a little while ago, and that buck is in the same exact bed that he saw him in last week. So we got just really windy conditions today, and it'd be a perfect day to put a spot stock on this deer. So it sounds like he's in a really good spot to hopefully get up close to him, and just excited to meet up with Dad and try to make it happen on this big deer. So we're gonna get in there and give it a shot.
October 12th. It is about 87 degrees out. Wind's blowing 25 miles an hour. And we're gonna go after a deer. Well, we think it's him that I've been having dreams about since I first got him on camera last year. And a friend of ours saw the deer, and we hadn't seen it yet or anything. And then after I shot my deer, it finally started showing up on camera. And I spent a lot of time looking for his antlers, and I finally found one of them. During the season, he had broke off a tine that was kind of an abnormal tine. That was a brow tine that stuck up pretty high and was pretty massive. I'd say like, you know, the width of your forearm, and it kind of forked at the end. And lucky enough to find it, but Nolan proceeded to lose that antler somehow, so this buck is now called the Lost Tine Buck. So he's literally been lost all summer, and I searched for his other shed, and I finally found one of his sheds. And this summer I spent a lot of time looking for that buck, and never could find him. I set up cameras for him, looked for him, went on multiple rides, watched bean fields, just no luck finding this deer. And last Sunday, my wife and I went for a drive, and we drove by the same spot we've been looking all summer, and there he was, bedded off the road like 50 yards. And I'm like, what are the odds of that? That he was under my nose all summer, just sitting right there, and I drove by him just that many times and never saw him. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And today I went by there again, and he's bedded in the exact same spot. So, with a little phone call to a great friend of mine and cousin, and said that, hey, you can go after the deer. So the cattle go in the pasture tomorrow, so I don't feel like we're gonna booger him either way, because either we're gonna get up close and hopefully get a shot at him, or, you know, we might not. So we're hoping that there's a chance. We're gonna drive by here in a minute and see if he's still there, and the wind's perfect. We can get right up behind him, and the last time I saw him, he was actually facing south, and our wind is literally gusting like 27 to 30 miles an hour out of the south right now. So I think we might have a pretty decent shot. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, that buck is not bedded, or at least we couldn't see him where he was at when I went by earlier. We do have a doe weekend going on right now, so that's why we're going to be in Blaze Orange, but our plan is to go in there where I've seen him bedded twice, because he can't be far from there. I don't know why he would have moved in the middle of the day unless he got exposed too much in the sun and found some shade somewhere. But our plan is to go in there and get as close to that spot as possible, hopefully spot him on the way in, and set up and just wait him out, and hopefully he gets up and moves again, or we see him going to feed. So that's the plan, and we're going to give it a shot.
That sign up there, it's where he was. Where's the sign? Oh, yeah, I see it. Oh, we're pretty close to him, man. Is he facing south or north? Okay, so we're almost where we need to be. And we know we got in here clean so far because we just came up on a thicket and there's a smaller buck bedded in there. I don't know how I spotted him. He was rubbing or something on a tree while he was laying down. And then he got up and he's been feeding a little bit. But I think we can get around him, and that's kind of what we're going to try to do. We're just going to have to creep up through here real slow and probably crawl, so we're close to where he was bedded the last time we saw him. Anything in the way? Stand. I have to stand. I don't know. I can't see him. Oh my God. Oh my God. I cannot believe that frickin' just happened. Oh. I cannot believe that happened. It's big. I think it went right through him. What do you mean, what happened? Well, thank God we saw that little buck and we dropped. And I crawled maybe, 10 yards? And I was on my knees, hands and knees, and Nolan goes, there's one other buck right there. And then we finally realized it was him. And all I needed to do was get up and walk 3 steps east. I don't know how long we were here, but it seemed like forever. My legs are shaking. I don't think it was very long. I'm an old man, and I cannot hardly kneel any longer, but I'm afraid to get up. But I kind of thought I heard him cough or choke.
Yeah, almost like spit up blood.
Yeah.
And when that second time he kind of went over there and didn't look very good.
I couldn't, you could probably see him and I couldn't, because there's a bunch of stuff there. I had a window of about 4 yards, and then I had another window of about 1 yard, and he stopped broadside quartering away. I know, I told you. Oh, he's right there. I cannot believe it. Oh my God, I'm gonna grab my bow, just in case. Oh my God, no way did I think that would ever happen in my lifetime. You know how many times I've tried to do that?
Why are you whispering?
I don't know. You know how many times I've tried to do that in my lifetime and it never works? Oh, he's literally laying right there.
He went like 10 yards.
Yes. He ain't very big body, but man, he's a brute.
Look at that thing.
I hammered him. Holy crap. Oh my goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Are you guys ready for this? I cannot believe this. I don't know why I'm whispering.
Oh my word.
What a freaking sweet deer. The lost Tine Buck is not lost anymore. Holy Toledo. He is a freaking giant. I cannot
Doki was that big.
believe that happened.
All I saw the whole time was this. That's all I could see.
Well, the first night Lynn and I saw him from the road, we could really only see this side. I had no idea he still had this stuff on the inside like that.
Look at the mass.
It's just insane. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Holy smokes. No one's ever gonna believe it. Well, this is a once in a lifetime scenario. I mean, I can't ever predict that this would ever happen again in my lifetime, but I've always dreamt about it. And actually this buck I had no idea he was this big. We have one shed from him last year that I found really, really late. I was kind of looking specifically for him, and the deer kind of disappeared. And like I said before, we named him the Lost Tine Buck because this part right here, as you can see, you think it was on this side? It was literally just a club that just kind of came up in the middle and then it split into three. And he broke it off. And then we found it shed hunting, and Nolan put it in his fanny pack, and somehow he lost it. We even went back and looked for it, so I just called him the Lost Tine Buck, and we'd seen him a week ago from the road right at dark.
Like what, 20 yards from where we're at right now?
Yeah, 20 yards from where we're at right now, and he was probably maybe 30 yards from where I saw him from the road this afternoon when I first saw him when I went by here. And when we went back by, it wasn't there, and I'm like, there's really not much of a chance. And we got in here. We weren't in here. I mean, the stalk took, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe, but it was like all of a sudden he was just right there. We had no idea he was there, and I can, for the life of me, have no idea how he did not know we were there. But
You know, spotting stalk like that, just, it's crazy, it's hectic. Never could have, drew it up the way it happened.
no.
Sure enough, he
And both times I saw him from the road, literally about all I could see was like this part right here. And I just knew he was a nice deer. And there was one time where he kind of turned sideways a little bit, and I could see that he wasn't very wide, but I could tell that he was tall. And I had no idea that he had all of this stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah. And just from last year, watching Dad go after his shed, Dad would text me about every day. He's like, oh, I didn't find it today. And he'd look over and over and over, and eventually found it. So awesome.
The last 2 years in October, and that has never ever happened to me. And I've been doing this since I was 16 years old, and that's 2 years in a row in October. Never ever happened before. It's amazing.
You just need me to go with you. I must be the good luck.
Yes, no doubt. I'm not going without you ever again.
Awesome hunt, and just one I know neither of us will ever forget.
No, have Nolan right there filming it, and it's amazing. Hopefully it came out good, and hopefully it's enjoyable for you guys to watch as enjoyable it was for me to even think about this deer. I still cannot believe that he is what he is. He's just amazing.
Pretty awesome. We're super excited to bring this to you guys, and those of you that are getting ready to get out and gear up for the rut, it's an exciting time of year, and Dad's gonna have the chance to film me this year, so we're gonna get him running the camera, get him in the Latitude saddle, and he's gonna be in the tree with me for this rut on the Buck 40. So really looking forward to this year.
Thank goodness for the Latitude knee pads for this old geezer.
That's right.
They saved me on this one for sure.
But yeah, really looking forward to continuing to hunt with Dad here this coming November. Hopefully we can dive into the Buck 40 and get my first buck down there, and just really looking forward to this rut and hunting with more with Dad. So thank you guys for watching.
One thing I'd like to add to this story is that, I would have never gotten into hunting if it wouldn't been for my dad and some of my close friends, and I appreciate that. And, Nolan has started doing that as well. He has a little friend that he takes out and every year deer hunting. This year he hasn't got to do it yet because he was a little busy with the wedding and stuff. But the thing that I would say is probably most important about hunting, and I'm still excited about the 4-point buck that I shot. That was my very first deer, and can remember it like it was yesterday. And I'm still pinching myself about what happened to me last Sunday. But the most important thing about this is that you get those young kids out and get them to experience the outdoors in a positive way and try to make it fun for them. And typically, there's not much try to it. Whether they harvest an animal, don't harvest an animal, catch a fish, whatever it is, it's very meaningful for them, and they will remember it for the rest of their lives. So now I'm tagged out, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with Nolan at the buck 40, catching him on film, hopefully getting one of his target bucks. And thank you for watching Midwest Whitetail. Hope to see you soon.